I respond if
This
I
is
think...
462 pages of text messages, sir. When you guys aren't supposed to be text messaging except for...
Do you have an issue with attending therapy?
No.
Why not?
I think he needs some kind of third party that will... He needs somebody to trust to be genuine about his feelings, especially about the conflict between mom and me, in as far as he can sense it. And my guess is it's probably difficult for him to do that to either one of us, because he's gonna feel split. So yeah, that's why I think it would be good for him to have a therapist that genuinely listens and is good at what they do, and that trusts especially.
Okay. Do you believe that Ms. respects you as a co-parent?
No.
Why?
The mutual behavior order, she stopped following a long time ago. She's obviously completely deprecatory to me in all the messages, and she overrules or unilaterally decides his schooling, his extracurriculars, his doctors, dental care. I mean, everything. I honestly can't think of one significant portion of his life that I would feel like I could actually give a genuine opinion to Miss without there being some massive issue.
Do you think that Ms. resents you?
Yes.
In your opinion, do you believe that she treats you with contempt in front of your son?
Yes.
In your opinion, do you believe that Ms. unilaterally makes decisions for?
Yes.
Even if you have previously stated a position, is it your opinion that she'll reverse course and disagree with you?
Yes. I mean, the one that I can think of off the top of my head was that synthesis one. That was bizarre. And also care with doctors.
Do you believe that Ms. heeds or follows this court's orders?
No, definitely not.
What do you mean by that?
We had pretty specific orders as to how to pick medical providers. We have specific orders, we had specific orders as to how to communicate. We have a mutual behavior order. And especially the medical providers, we're both advised or ordered each time to get a referral from the pediatrician's office, and then to present the other parent with 3 options, and then the other parent picks one. And every single time, it's just been one option, go there, and she wants me to just agree with the one option that she picks and to stop saying anything, really.
Has a double or a triple charged you for expenses related to?
Yes.
Has she ever accused you of hurting?
Not specifically. There was one instance when they had some discomfort around, around his, and we scheduled a doctor's appointment for him to be seen. We looked at it, we thought, we looked
Can
to
I
see.
get a date on this? I believe it's outside the scope of the time frame that the court permitted.
When approximately did this happen that you're referring to?
2020 or 2021.
I'm gonna object, Your Honor, it's beyond the scope.
Yeah, it probably is in this.
Okay, I'll move on to a different question.
Okay.
Actually, I'm going to refer you to Bates page 1030_1. 1030_1.
I see it.
I'm sorry, not that one. I apologize. 1339, I'm sorry. 1339, DD 1339.
I see it.
So there's a message that occurs on, or has occurred on November 18th of 2024 at 12:38 p.m. Do you see that?
I see it.
And who is speaking to who in this message?
From 12:38 to 12:40, Ms. is messaging me.
Okay, and what does Ms. say to you at 12:38 p.m. on November 18th of 2024?
She says you are mentally ill. That's a fact.
Have you ever been diagnosed with a mental illness?
If depression counts, so I guess yes.
Okay. To your knowledge, has Ms. ever been diagnosed with a mental illness?
Your Honor, I'm going to object beyond the scope.
I'm sorry, what was the question again?
We're talking about custody. This is absolutely relevant, and it's not beyond the scope.
Okay. Are you making a judgment beyond the scope of your direct, or?
No, beyond the scope of proceedings, if she's ever
Okay.
been diagnosed.
Okay. What was the question again?
The question was, has Ms. ever been diagnosed with a mental illness to your knowledge?
Okay. I'm gonna overrule that.
I can answer.
You can.
As far as I know,
Okay. That's fine. Has your son exhibited any unusual behaviors that have caused you concerns?
depends what you mean by unusual, but
I'm asking you, in your opinion, do you believe your son has exhibited any unusual, determine that word however you want, behaviors that have caused you concerns?
not particularly, other than getting quite upset at exchanges or school drop-offs when he knows that I'm not going to be picking him up.
Does your son routinely get headaches?
Yes, he did for quite a while, yes.
Does he routinely get nauseous?
For quite a while, yes.
Do you know why? He was
Yeah.
getting nausea and headaches?
Your Honor, I'm going to object. Form foundation.
You're talking about as to time?
No, a foundation as to how he would know why the child was getting headaches, and then also as to time frame.
I'll just say that one ask more.
Was your son ever being administered any medicines that caused him to be nauseous or have headaches?
The same objection unless there's a medical diagnosis as to a medication causing it.
We had a full dialogue asked by Mr. Schonfeld about eye drops. That's what I'm referring to. You want me to ask that? Because I will.
Is there a doctor that has said the eye drops caused something?
I've already heard a lot of things about.
I'll move on, Your Honor. I'll move on.
I know he believes that. I don't know if that's a fact or not. because he's made that opinion in his pleadings.
I'll move on, Your Honor. Do you believe that Ms. wants to control us?
Yes,
Why do you think that?
because she unilaterally controls all of his activities. She's told him, she's expressed to me before that she tells him that she doesn't want to hear him talking about grandma and papa and Ohio. Mostly it's through the control of his activities and the games he's allowed to play, what he's able to say on FaceTime, that kind of stuff.
Was there ever a time where Miss forgot to bring his baseball glove to your home for a child drop-off?
Yeah, there was, at least one time.
And what did Miss tell you to tell?
I don't recall exactly.
Flip to Bates 1088_1. Excuse me, 1087_1. There was a message at March 10th, 23 at 10:42 p.m. Initiated by Ms. via text message, correct?
Yes,
Will you read that starting, "I'm going to drop off his bag later"?
said, I'm going to drop off his bag later, and you're going to tell him that Mama fixed it. Not that I forgot, that Mama made sure he had what he needed.
Does she routinely dictate to you what you have to tell?
Yes, I can think of at least one other instance off the top of my head.
That's routine. Your Honor, object to the characterization.
I understand the argument. I'm rolling with that.
I'm sorry, question.
Do you have any other examples of when she dictates to you the things you're going to tell?
There was at least one other instance recently when Miss said she wasn't able to make it to his soccer game, and she's quite insistent that I tell him that she wasn't feeling well, like to the point where she sent multiple messages saying, you better tell him, you better tell him.
Okay, there was a recent Disney field trip with the child. You recall that?
Yes,
Did you ask Ms. Ray for his phone number to talk to him while he was on the Disney field trip?
yes.
You recall what Miss told you?
Not exactly.
Flip to Bates page 989_1.
I see it.
Actually, I'll move on. Sir, do you believe that you're a good father?
Yes.
Why?
I tried to be as active a participant in our son's life as possible. Basically, of every decision I make, I try to think about what would be best for him. I make sure that he's learning. We actively learn. We read a lot. I make sure his homework is done. This past year, we read the Odyssey, Homer, the Odyssey. And we worked quite a bit on that. And then he took the quiz at school and got a 90% on it. So I try to teach him and assist with his learning and reading as much as possible. I teach him music. I teach him music quite a bit because I work at the music school, and in a lot of spots, I accept the opportunity for to perform at events in lieu of payment. So I teach him music. He does music performances with me. I went to the school. He did a music performance with me, sang a song for all the kids in school. I try to make sure he has a relationship facilitated with his extended family, with my parents. I make sure, I think it's good for a kid to grow up with a dog. So, we got a dog together, and I try to be as active a participant as I possibly can in his life because I'm lucky that I have the time to do that.
Do you foster and encourage this relationship with his mother?
I try to. If he ever has an issue, I'll just say, Mama loves you, and Mama and I are different. So I try to. Most of that is probably served by me just backing off.
Do you ever speak negatively about Miss?
No.
When you have him, do you make sure that his homework gets done on
Yes.
time?
Yes, and photograph the day after. Yes.
Do you pack his lunch when you have him on your custodial days?
Yes.
What do you make him usually for lunch?
It depends what his tastes are at that time. Usually, he likes his turkey separate from Hawaiian bread. So I put rolled up turkey in a separate bag that he can put in between slices of Hawaiian bread. He eats an apple pretty much every day. There's some kind of fruit. These hummus snack packs, so hummus and chips, some other chips, and then usually some kind of sweet, like half a donut or little muffins or something. But yes, I pack his lunch every day. Like, I don't think he's ever not had a packed lunch with me.
In your opinion, has Miss attended extracurricular activities to support?
Yeah. Yes.
To your knowledge, has Miss made any negative comments about you?
I would object on lack of foundation.
Say that again?
To your knowledge, has Miss made any negative comments about you?
And I'm asking for a foundation of how he would know.
Well, he's already testified to some of the things that she said in front of us. So, but you can give specific foundation.
Sure.
For what you're asking.
Sure. Has Miss ever called you a failure as a father to, or in front of? Let me say that.
Yes. As well as some other things at doctor's appointments. She tells me she says I'm an idiot. She threatens me at the doctor's appointments. She threatens all the office staff at the doctor's appointments. She threatened to subpoena everyone in the dental office when we were there, which was strange. She also said, like, if I wear a shirt and tie, she says that I look like a pharmaceutical rep, and she asks if I've made any pharmaceutical sales today. And he's there. So yes.
Okay. Do you believe that conduct or actions have had a positive or negative impact upon your relationship with?
In some ways it's negative because he's got, in most ways it's negative because he's forced to have some kind of split loyalty. But honestly, he just knows that it's not okay to do that. And in most of the situations, he gets defensive of me. So, in a way, he becomes closer to me because he sees his mother insult me. I think it's negative overall.
Okay. To your knowledge, where does Miss currently reside?
I think it's Henderson, in the Inspirata area.
Okay. To your knowledge, who resides in Miss home?
No one that I know of other than, but I wouldn't really know, honestly.
To the best of your knowledge, or any personal knowledge that you have, can you describe the living conditions or environment in this home?
I don't have too much personal knowledge about it.
Never been inside their home?
No.
Okay. Would you please briefly describe for the court? What are his interests, likes, dislikes? How would you describe your son to this judge? Or excuse me, to this court?
He's thoughtful. He's sensitive. He's empathetic, almost like too empathetic. He likes learning. He's athletic. He likes running around, playing with kids, running around at the park. I think he's almost 5 feet tall right now. He likes playing video games. He likes visiting. He likes my parents. He likes walking the dogs. He mostly likes lying on top of the dogs. He's got all kinds of interests. He likes learning, I would say, and he's pretty sensitive.
How would you describe your relationship with him? What things do you guys like to do together?
Well, I mean, when he's during my custodial time, we're together almost constantly. So sometimes we'll go to the park and I'll just let him, run off on his own. I believe that kids should have some amount of distance from the adults. So the kids have to actually play and fix their own problems. So that's something we do, and then we'll talk about that after. He helps me with the dogs. He helps me with chores around the house. We do homework together. Reading is a big thing. We play music together. We travel together quite a bit. We play video games together. I don't know if I mentioned that. He actually can we're learning computer programming together. He can actually do some decent programming in Microsoft Excel. I mean, really impressive. He likes to learn. He's curious. Sorry, I could go on for a long time.
It's easy to see you love your son and have a good relationship with him.
I think so.
Again, just so I'm clear, do you recall the current custodial schedule order, or the current custodial order regarding, what is the current schedule, to your knowledge?
5225, where I pick up from school on Mondays and Tuesdays. Mom picks him up on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and we alternate every other weekend. And then there are some specifics for holidays, but those are pretty extensive. I don't even know if I could recall them off the top of my head, but that's the current custodial order.
Okay. Do you believe that Ms. has the capability of making prudent decisions related to?
No.
Why not?
I mean, honestly, I think she has some struggles with impulse control, and her appearance in front of the court and other people especially. I mean, the stuff with the medical care was unbelievable.
What do you mean by that?
So like, with the atropine drops, the first ophthalmologist never suggested that he take them. He said wait until he's 8 years old, and for some reason she was obsessed with these drops. She called their office over and over again, went to a different optometrist to get the drops. I thought that they were causing issues, and then in 2022, I thought that they were causing issues that they were dilating his pupils. Like when you go to an eye exam and they dilate your pupils to look inside. And it turned out that his pupils were dilated constantly. And I couldn't even be sure how long that was going on. But for some reason, and the ophthalmologist couldn't even really tell why we were doing this either. But he just wanted to give mom whatever she wanted, and she wanted to continue the drops, and they're like, I don't know why she became so fixed to this position, but he did have a diagnosis that they were causing issues. Now that he's old enough, actually, they're probably not going to be an issue, but that was just a bizarre thing to get so fixated on when it was so clear what the doctor had recommended. There have also been issues with scheduling dental appointments, where, again, I don't know if mom didn't want to look bad in front of the court, but just lied about what the dental plan covered and what was going on. And it ended up backfiring on us. Next time we went there, there was no dental plan, and we just had to figure it out from scratch with just me there. There have also been some bizarre instances with the flu shot where, I don't know if this is an impulse control thing or what, but mom will tell the doctor no flu shot, and then she'll come into the court and say, Dad won't let me get a flu shot, which is why I just wanted to stay out of it entirely, because the doctors don't know what's going on, and it's bizarre. It's bizarre. Like, she'll go in there and say one thing and then come to the court and say another thing, and that happens a lot.
Okay. Let's switch gears a little bit. What do you currently do for work, sir?
Mostly teach music, perform music.
And how are you financially surviving?
In part from that, and mostly with my parents' assistance.
Prior to Ms. motion to modify custody, how would you describe Mrs. relationship with you?
Good. I mean, in the same way that I described it in a couple of questions ago about how we're close and the activities we do together. Good. I mean, honestly, the circumstances are not optimal, but I feel like he and I are very close. Like, I could not possibly ask for a better kid or for a better relationship with him.
Do you think that if this court modifies its custodial schedule and gives mom primary physical custody, that will impact your relationship with
Yes.
How?
Even if it's a day that I don't pick him up from school, he gets very upset, meaning that I give mom a day of custody and he may expect me to pick him up that day. He would be despondent if if the custody schedule were changed to mom having primary physical. Yeah, he would be despondent.
Do you believe that the court modifying custody would be in his best interest?
No.
Why? You talked about him being despondent. What other things do you think would occur that would not be in his best interest?
Well, modifying legal custody over medical and dental would be an absolute disaster.
Why?
Well, mom is, it's difficult to tell, but opposed to x-rays in general. We've gone to medical appointments before and found out that mom's insurance for this is not active or doesn't exist. It's tough to tell, but that's why I've always carried a backup insurance plan. There's also been many times where mom will say, he's already been to the dentist this year. Like that I'm taking him too many times. He's been to his well check this year, and it's just not true. And it takes hours of time and messages to prove that it's not true, and then to get him to the doctor. And then I would worry about what would happen if I weren't there to do that, and to bring him to the doctor and bring him to the dentist.
In your opinion, what is the current state of the relationship between and Ms.
We are on to object, lack of foundation.
I asked his opinion.
Overruled. You can answer, sir.
Sure. Thank you. I think he loves her. I think he has difficulty getting her to relate to him. He feels like I think he loves her, but he has a difficult time relating to her.
What do you mean by that? Difficult time relating?
That he feels like she is not involved, or like that she doesn't understand him. That's mostly what I feel like, that he thinks that mom doesn't understand him and just kind of signs him up for things, or tells him, go over there while I work or do something else. I think he feels a little more like she views him as an obligation when she has other things to do.
Do you think that wants to be in his mother's primary care?
There are no objections in proper question, lack of foundation. Speculation.
Some of this is hard because neither parent can testify to his opinions without relying on hearsay that wouldn't be admissible. So I'm going to sustain that.
How would you describe the level of conflict between yourself and Ms.
Hi.
Why?
It's a very complicated question.
Break it down for me.
I think I don't know if she's able to communicate with me in just in a standard business-like objective manner. Obviously everybody can see the messages. There's arguing. It depends who somebody thinks whose fault it is, but there's constant disagreement, and no trust, zero trust. And a lot of that, I mean, she going to destroy me, and she has, and she's gone about that quick. And so that seems to be the candor of the interactions.
Okay. Do you believe that once the court renders a final decision in this matter, the conflict will decrease between you and Ms.
I don't know.
No, I didn't hear you. What'd you
I
say?
don't know, sorry.
That's okay.
I would hope so. I really don't know.
Okay. What have you done in order to facilitate a relationship between Ms. Ray and
I make sure that he's available for all the FaceTime calls. I speak positively about her when he mentions her. I make sure that he's at all the extracurriculars that she signs him up for. I also let him know that he's able to contact her anytime he wants from my house.
Are you willing to be flexible with days and times if things need to switch up for schedule changes and things?
As long as it's very clear who agreed to what and switched what, then yes. And usually I just give in to changes anyway, but I much prefer like clear order, clear agreement. Everybody knows what each is responsible for.
Is it a fair characterization to say that you're willing to be flexible if necessary?
Yes, yes. I'm so sorry, I have to go to the bathroom.
Huh?
I'm sorry, I have to go to the bathroom. Is it,
We can take the 10-minute break. Let's take
Fair enough.
a 10-minute break.
okay.
I don't know if we asked the question or not before we broke, but I'll ask it again. In your opinion, does Ms. Ray facilitate a relationship between you and
Facilitate.
does she encourage, foster, facilitate, whatever word you want to use?
Sometimes.
What do you mean by that?
She makes him available for most of the FaceTime calls. In a lot of ways, no. I mean, especially with contact from her home. I mean, he knows that he's not allowed to contact me, especially through a video game there or anything. But I mean, for the most part, she has him by the phone for FaceTime or within 5 minutes of when I call to call back. Other than that, we don't have too much interaction.
Has there ever been an occurrence where Ms. Ray threatened to not allow you and your family to see?
Time frame, foundation.
Staying on the foundation.
It was in 2019.
Oh, well then that's outside the scope.
I objected.
You're a gem, Rich. You're a gem. Thanks for your help.
Anytime.
Has there ever been a time where Ms. gave you short notice for travel with the child?
Sometimes, yeah. I remember one trip that she took, although we changed the parameters for when a parent has to give information about out-of-state travel. I think maybe one time she was behind the deadline a little bit. I would count the international trips as not giving notice, but I don't know what to say about that really.
In the last 4 years, has there been a time when Ms. has obstructed your communication with?
Yes.
When?
We'll try to contact me from her house. I can give one specific incident when he was playing a video game. I got an invite to the video game, and I figured, mom's letting him play this video game and invite me to play. And that ended up not being the case, I guess, because once I joined, she forced him to leave. She sent me some pretty serious messages about not joining the game, and I think that happened a couple times. I also asked at one point, so we play chess together, and chess.com is an app for people to play chess against each other. And I'm pretty sure I asked, can you play chess on me with on chess.com from your house? And she said no.
Okay. You were asked questions by Mr. Schonfeld about an event where there was gunshots in the neighborhood, and there was questions about quote unquote clearing the home with a firearm. Do you have a firearm?
Yes.
Where do you store it?
In a safe, in a lockbox inside of a safe.
To your knowledge, does it have the code to that safe?
No.
Or key or whatever, however it gets in. And did you in fact clear the house with a firearm?
It depends what you mean by clear. I took
How do you interpret that when I ask the question?
I took the firearm out. I tried to do so without alarming us, and I just walked around downstairs the house and tried to look outside and see what was happening.
Did you see you have the gun in your hands?
I don't really know. He knew something was going on, but I don't think he actually saw a firearm.
Okay. And just so I'm clear, it's commonplace for Miss to communicate with you outside of the Our Family Wizard messages.
Yes.
And in fact, she oftentimes initiates those text message communications with you.
Yes.
You were talking about bizarre conduct at the doctor's appointments and things like that. Has there ever been a time where Ms. has, in the last 4 years, acted obstructively towards doctor's recommendations?
Insofar as attending the doctor regularly, yes. Attending the dentist regularly, yes.
Does she comply with the doctor's treatment regimen, medicine regimen? Does she follow the doctor's recommendations as prescribed by the doctors?
Foundation.
Sustain that as far as time frame, I guess.
In the last 4 years.
Yeah, there have been some issues. I recall at least one issue with making sure that she completed the entire course of antibiotics when I was with her.
And did that occur?
I don't really know. There was a long back and forth exchange where I think Ms. told me something like it's none of my business, or you don't get to tell me what to do, or something like that. Like she wouldn't answer that she was going to finish the antibiotics course.
And this was all documented in Our Family Wizard or text messages?
It's written somewhere. My guess is text message.
Okay, we'll get her on cross then. Is it your opinion that Ms. unilaterally hired Dr. Shannon Smith to act as his therapist?
Yes.
You didn't have any input in selecting or retaining Dr. Smith?
I had the option to say no and, in my opinion, probably lose custody, but those are my only options. Say yes or have an issue.
What do you mean by that, in your opinion, lose custody? What do you mean by that?
That if I didn't accept her singular recommendation, that I was going to lose physical or legal custody to some extent.
So when you don't automatically comply with Ms. demands, Does she routinely file motions?
Yes,
There's no co-parenting, there's no communication of how you guys are gonna solve these problems, she just runs to the court every time. Is that a true statement?
yes. Sometimes I don't even say no. I ask for, like with the travel plans, I ask for something more specific and I'll sign off. And she'll come in to court and claim that I said no and claim that I'm causing issues. So yes, she brings me to court quite a bit.
Okay. To your knowledge, does it have any behavioral issues?
No,
To your knowledge, does it have any learning disabilities?
I don't think so. I
To
don't
your
think
knowledge, does it have any medical conditions that would cause this court concern?
so. He had the headaches and nausea for a few years. That seems to have dissipated since he's gotten older. He has too. And we've been to the dermatologist several times over this. The dermatologist has asked us to apply a certain. It looks like iodine basically, and to the spots of. And Mr. will routinely say that he doesn't have anymore. And this is something, it's a or something that will last for. The doctor was pretty clear about this, and this is a situation where we needed to go back to the dermatologist to have him treated, and she just canceled the appointment and said he doesn't have. To the point where I sent pictures to her circling, and she still would cancel the appointments and say, I don't think he has it.
When did that happen? You said she canceled the appointments. When did that happen?
The dermatology appointment canceling would have been, I think in early 2023 was when it first started.
So, by all accounts, in your opinion, is a intelligent, well-behaved, healthy kid. Is that a fair statement? But apparently.
Well, yeah, some things like that, but yeah, I mean, yes, like fortunate, beautiful, healthy, like perfect. Everybody says about their own kid. Perfect child, yes.
You had talked about providing medical insurance for medical coverage for. To your knowledge, who does provide health insurance for?
We're both supposed to have a health insurance policy, but again, a lot of times it will seem like mom doesn't have a policy, so the doctor's office uses mine.
What do you mean, seem like mom doesn't have a policy? What does that mean?
She'll present her health insurance card to the doctor's office, and they say there's no such policy or it's inactive.
Your Honor, can I get a foundation?
In the last 4 years, how many times have you gone to the doctor and the health insurance was not active, provided by mom?
Does that count the dental prepaid plan?
Sure.
Well, Your Honor, I'd like it separated. for
Okay,
foundation purposes.
medical, health insurance only for this question.
Probably twice, and then also some, meaning 2 years, and some incidents where the parenting coordinator spelled out very specifically whose health
Your Honor,
insurance
that
is.
predates the timeframes of dealing with scope.
No, it doesn't.
I don't think it does. Because we litigated that too after the decree was entered, so I'm gonna overrule that.
You're talking about the parenting coordinator?
Yeah, the parenting coordinator has very specifically spelled out instructions for whose health insurance to use and when, at which appointments. Because it's already, I guess, unusual that we both carry a policy. And at some appointments, mom just says, we're using your health insurance. And, like, I don't know if she uses the words mine doesn't work, but something to that effect, and we just use mine regardless of what the order says, and I just get my health insurance, because what else am I gonna do?
Okay. And in the last approximately 4 years, how many times have you taken him to the dentist and Ms. dental insurance was not active or not working?
Your Honor, I'm going to object. There's no dental insurance. It's a one-time prepaid payment plan that this court is aware of.
Right, neither party has dental insurance, as I learned through the litigation. I think she has a prepaid plan, but he doesn't have no dental insurance either. At least he didn't last time we litigated this issue.
Do you currently have active dental insurance?
I think I have an active One Smile prepaid dental plan.
You have a prepaid dental plan as well?
When we went to the follow-up appointment that the plan that we discussed in here was supposed to cover, it was lapsed or it didn't work or something like that. At that point, I bought another One Smile plan, and I continued to pay for it for at least a year, and it may still be active, but yes.
Okay, fair enough. Who usually takes to his doctor's appointments in the last 4 years?
It varies. I don't think mom came to any dental appointments for at least 2 years until he had the issue with these 4 cavities, and mom wanted to switch dentists. Then she came to the appointments at the new dentist office. But at the ophthalmologist, a lot, it's just me. Mom is usually also at the well checks. If he gets if he gets sick, he gets strep pretty frequently. I mean, like once a year or so. I think it's frequently. It'll usually just be he and I at those visits.
In the last 4 years, can you estimate approximately how many doctor's appointments you have accompanied to?
Specialists and everything.
Sure.
Every dental appointment, so it's probably 7 or 8. Every yearly physical, so I guess that's 4. I think every ophthalmologist appointment, so that's probably another 4. Every dermatologist appointment except for one I got FaceTimed in, so that was probably 5 or 6. I think there was an optometrist appointment that I wasn't able to attend recently.
So is it a fair characterization to say that you attend pretty much all of
Yes.
the medical, dental, and ophthalmological appointments
Yes.
in the last 4 years?
Yes.
Would you ever cease taking the appropriate steps to address and mitigate any of his medical diagnoses or conditions?
No.
Do you drink alcohol, sir?
At all?
Sure.
Yes.
How often?
Fewer than 1 drink every 14 days.
So would it be a fair characterization to say you have between 1 to 2 drinks a month?
Yes.
Do you drink when you have the child in your care?
No.
To your knowledge, does Miss drink alcohol?
I don't know.
To your knowledge, does Miss consume cannabis?
I don't know.
Do you use any illicit drugs, sir?
No.
To your knowledge, does Miss use any illicit drugs?
I don't know.
Would you say that you and Miss cooperate to meet the needs of your child?
Not really. No.
Why?
I mean, the needs, at the end of the day, usually the needs get covered, but I wouldn't call it cooperation. It's usually me begging and messaging and trying to pull up a record of when he needs to go to the doctor, and especially when he has strep. If mom says that she thinks it's a cold, she will never, for some reason she gets completely attached to that idea. So I end up having to take him to the doctor for like a throat culture routinely, and that's usually accompanied by mom telling me I'm overreacting, but then him ending up having an infection that needed antibiotics. So I don't know if I would say cooperation is the word, but somehow, it gets done.
Would you say that you and work together to ensure that he is fed, clothed, and cared for?
I can only really speak to my own custodial time. I've had some issues with the clothing. I've had some concerns about the food, but on my custodial time, I make sure he's fed, clothed, and cared for.
You said we had some issues with the clothes. What were you referring to?
He's had some days where I pick him up and he's wearing clothes that I think are not suitable. Like I said, the long underwear with a hole in them that I think I took a picture of. But I basically gave up on incidents like that. But Miss accused me many times of dressing him inappropriately, like so much so that I've started taking a picture of him and me getting to school on time and the clothes that he's wearing every single day.
Okay, and you said there was an issue with food. What did you mean by that?
I noticed that his lunches that were packed were pretty meager. I
Packed by who?
by Miss. And I'm sure he can still get food at the school, or I'm guessing he can get food at the school, but he at least seemed to think that he didn't have any lunch to eat other than, and he didn't want to eat hot lunch. So he just seemed like he hadn't eaten usually when he came to my care, but that's all really.
Okay. How would you describe your health, sir?
My health? I'm in decent health. I don't get a lot of sleep. Quite stressed out over this situation. I'm stressed out making sure that he is healthy and gets the doctor's appointments and gets the care he needs. Other than that, I don't think I have any serious health concerns that I'm aware of.
To the best of your knowledge, how would you describe Ms. Gray's physical health?
I wouldn't really know.
How would you describe your mental health, sir?
As I said, I'm quite stressed. I managed to make sure everything that he needs is taken care of. And I document so much that, I document a lot, and that it takes a lot of time and stress.
Why do you document so much?
Why?
Why?
Because I'm concerned that Ms. is gonna lie to the court about something that I'll have to later disprove.
Or file another motion that you'll have to support?
Sure, that's possible. Oh, that I would file a motion, or that she would? Yes, that she may file a motion that I would have to defend.
Okay. To the best of your knowledge, how would you describe Ms. mental health
Foundation for time frame.
in the last 4 years? Do you have any reason to believe or know of any mental issues that Ms. suffers from?
As far as I know, still but even beyond that, I wouldn't think she should be judged by the diagnosis, but more the things that Miss does. I mean, she really seems to have quite a bit of resentment and impulse control issues.
Do you know if in the last 4 years Ms. has ever been diagnosed?
I'm gonna ask for a foundation, how he would know in the last 4 years.
Do you have any reason to believe that Ms. last 4 years has been diagnosed?
Other than her actions and the psychological evaluation from this case, I guess I would say.
The onus of.
To the best of your knowledge, has Ms. ever accused you of having
Yes,
Time frame foundation.
in the last 4 years?
yes.
In the last 4 years, are you aware of an occurrence where Ms. contracted and continued to interact?
Time frame in the last 4 years.
Not within the last 4 years.
Okay. Just so I'm clear, does it have a primary care physician in Clark County, Nevada?
Yes,
Who is that?
varies a little bit, but I think it's listed as Michael Liebman currently. It's a St. Rose Pediatrics.
Okay. And again, in your opinion, is it healthy? However you understand that word to mean.
Yes, yes.
In your opinion, does Ms. support physical health?
Yeah, yes.
In the last 4 years, has he sustained any injuries that have required emergency treatments?
Yes, he had one emergency room visit for and he had he had some urgent concerns during the times that he got, but I don't think they were emergency room in the past 4 years.
You believe that some of the injuries that you just described could have been avoided?
Definitely the prolonging of this could have been avoided, yes.
In the last 4 years, has he been injured in your care?
I'm sure he's had bumps and bruises. I think one time he got kicked in the face by somebody at the playground, and I alerted Miss and I took a picture of it. I think she may have come to the playground with ice, but no serious physical injuries.
In your opinion, how is he doing under the current custodial arrangement?
He's a little confused, I think.
What do you mean by that?
he's probably, well, he's confused that like, why the houses are so separate, especially why his mother doesn't talk to his grandparents and extended family, and things like why I try not to tell him or divulge this to him, like why I go to my father for dentistry and he can't, or why I go to the doctor in Ohio and he can't. He's a little confused, and he loves both his parents, but he's confused and split a little bit, and has some difficulty, I think, relating to mom.
To your knowledge, has Mr. ever neglected or withheld love, affection, food, water, or anything from in the last 4 years?
I mean, I don't know if prohibiting him from contacting me while she's in his care counts under that.
Okay. Have you ever neglected or withheld love, affection, food, water, or anything from
No. No.
Have you ever been charged with domestic violence?
No.
Have you ever been arrested for domestic violence?
No.
Have you ever been accused of abusing?
Yes.
By whom?
By
CPS ever been called against you?
not that I'm aware of. I know that she had made some accusations to the therapist. She's made accusations to me that I hurt him, but I don't think CPS has ever been involved.
Just so I'm clear, CPS never showed up on your doorstep to want to investigate, look in your house, or anything like that?
No.
To your knowledge, has Mr. ever been arrested or charged with domestic violence?
The last 4 years.
In the last 4 years.
In the last 4 years?
Yes.
No, not to my knowledge.
Has Mr. been violent towards you?
The last 4 years.
Sure. Just assume every question I ask is in the last 4 years.
It has to be under the court's order.
She's gotten like in my face and said some things, but she hasn't physically hit me.
What things did she say in your face in the last 4 years?
There was a day when needed a shirt for a field trip, and we were waiting for Miss parking lot, and there was some kind of miscommunication or something. I don't know. She was supposed to be there for the field trip for that day, and she was going to walk into the school with us. And when she was running behind, we were waiting for her at the door. And once she got there, she got up in my face, like, I mean, closer than 8 inches, and just yelled terrible parenting at me.
What does that mean, terrible parenting?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
She said to you, terrible parenting?
Yes,
Those were her words.
yes.
She didn't explain what they meant?
I assume given the context of the situation, I didn't do what she wanted me to do. I don't really know. But that's what she said.
Was present for this exchange?
He was there, yeah.
To your knowledge, in the last 4 years, has Miss ever been violent towards you?
Not to my knowledge, no.
How do you discipline?
Honestly, he doesn't really need set out a schedule, some expectations, and then I'll tell him, you know, once you finish this, you can do whatever the fun thing it is that you want to do. Or I tell him, like, okay, we're going to leave the park now. And honestly, I'll explain most of it to him. And he really doesn't need much. He doesn't require much discipline at this point.
To your knowledge, how does Miss discipline?
I'm not really certain, again, other than the cutting off of contact with me from her house.
To your knowledge, has Miss, in the last 4 years, has Miss been accused or charged with abusing or neglecting?
I don't think so.
Overall, do you believe that Miss is a good mother?
It's a very complicated question.
Then break it down for me.
I think she's good at, I think she loves, and I think he knows that in some way. I think the parenting and medical appointments and responsibility stuff is something that she's not as good at. And the discipline and the coordination between parents and communicating with us, maybe she's not as good at. But I think she loves him. I think she wants to encourage him to do activities that he likes. I don't know.
Okay. To your knowledge, what is Miss for a living?
At this point, I don't really know. I think I'd be guessing a little bit.
Do you have any idea how much Miss earns on a gross monthly basis?
It's tough to tell. I think I saw her pay stubs or something around like $8,000, but she's like a significant overdue tax liability, and I'm not sure how that is levied against. I don't really know.
What do you mean by that? Or what? How do you know that? Or what do you mean by a significant tax liability? What are you talking about?
My understanding from her previous FDF and current FDF is that she owes back taxes, unfiled taxes, in the amount of over $100,000.
Are you concerned about Miss?
Yes.
Why?
Because from the time that we knew each other, I know that she's been involved in gambling for quite a while, and even the best gamblers can have fluctuations in income. And I remember the amount of money that I had to loan her to keep her afloat.
This is beyond the scope.
What is the relevance to things that occurred while they were living together, which was before the end of 2018?
Yeah, that wasn't the question. The question was, is he concerned about her income?
Yes.
Okay. Would you switch to Exhibit VV in Book 4 of 4? You there, sir?
VV, I see it, yes.
Would you peruse those and refresh your recollection of them?
Oh, so these are,
Yeah, what are they?
they're pictures that I uploaded that I took with my iPhone of us and me and family. And
So these are activities that you've done, these are things like that of experiences that you've had with.
yes,
And you took them?
yes,
Did you provide them to my office?
yes,
Are they a true and correct copy of the documents you provided to my office? Or pictures you provided to my office?
yes,
Your Honor, I'd ask to admit Exhibit VV into the record.
Any
Yeah.
objection?
I'm going to object, there's no foundation as to the time frame. There's, for example, case number 1634 is clearly not a picture that Mr. took. 1635 is clearly not a picture that he took, so there's a number of pictures.
He's in it.
1638. If you ask him if he took all these pictures, he clearly didn't. There's no foundation as for dates.
Are these pictures from the last 4 years?
I would have to go through each of them. Everything I provided, no, let me just make sure. How many are there? Yes, these are pictures from the last 4 years that I either took or,
Are in,
yes, or posted.
and you provided them to my office.
Yes,
And they're true and accurate copies of the documents you provided to my office.
yes.
Your Honor, I would ask to admit Exhibit VV into the record.
Any other objections?
Same objection I made, Your Honor. There's no date on any particular photograph.
I'll admit BB.
Thank you, Your Honor. Would you switch to Exhibit WW? It's the next tab.
I see it.
What, as you peruse these, sir, what are they?
They're pictures and screenshots that I have taken. Some are blank pages, but that I have posed in or taken over the past 4 years. I believe the uploads come with the metadata of the dates. I don't know if
Sure.
those are-
So what are these pictures of? Why did you take these pictures? Or why were they taken?
Most of these are proof that this was dressed in appropriate clothing and that we were at school on time. And it looks like one is a picture of the long johns underwear with the hole in it that I was talking about before. One of these is a picture of his vomit to prove that he was actually sick. Most of them are us arriving at school. Some are pictures of the traffic and the distance drive to school. One is a picture of his Halloween costume. One is a picture of his thermos inside of his backpack because Mom kept saying that I was not returning the thermoses or cups.
Did you take these pictures because Mom was routinely accusing you of not getting the child to school on time or dressing him appropriately?
Yes,
So this was in response to those allegations, is that correct?
yes. I don't
And
even know if this is all of them.
You either took these pictures or are in them,
Yes,
and these relate to the last 4 years of your child's life?
yes,
And you provided these to my office?
yes,
Are they a true and correct copy of the documents or pictures you provided to my office?
yes.
Your Honor, move to admit WW into the record.
Your Honor, I'm going to object on relevance. I'm going to object on no single photograph has a date, therefore it's incomplete. For example, he could take a picture one day, but not 3 other days that he has custody without knowing the dates. We can't establish that. There are pictures of maps in here that there's been no relevance established, no dates on when there was that potential travel. So in some, these documents are irrelevant and we don't have enough information to lay a proper foundation.
Yeah, I can't admit the whole 107 pages are based on the testimony already. Because some of them are pictures of documents and yeah, I don't think he's laid a foundation for every single one of these. We went through them and said, okay, one of these pictures. That's how you want to spend the time.
You were asked questions by Mr. Schonfeld about travel and about reasonability. Do you believe it's reasonable for a parent to request the travel details, including flights, hotels, and emergency contact information when the child leaves the state or country with the other parent?
Yes?
What concerns do you have if this information is not provided? Or what concerns would you have if this information was not provided?
Definitely safety concerns. If someone were out of the country, I mean, if we're out of the country and something were to happen where we weren't in contact and I couldn't get in contact with them, I mean, I wouldn't even know what country to look in for our kid. And in general, you know, having addresses and locations are nice, but at least what country I think is.
I asked you about travel out of the country to the various countries that she planned to go to. Did she provide this information to you?
Your Honor, I'm going to object on res judicata, the law of the case. We filed 2 motions, we prevailed. They're trying to relitigate the underlying basis for their opposition to the motions, which they did not prevail on.
It's, yeah, I'm gonna find it's not relevant
Fair enough.
based on the issues that we have before us today. I mean, because I made very specific orders and I've heard no allegations from him that she didn't comply with them.
Got it. In the last 4 years, have you traveled with outside the jurisdiction?
Yes.
Did you provide the emergency contact information, flights, hotel, where you were going to be, i.e. travel details to Ms. before you booked the travel?
Yes.
Was there a time where you pulled out of school early for a dental appointment? More specifically, for an appointment that was at 4 o'clock?
Yes, I think I recall that.
Can you explain to the court why you did that? Why you pulled him out of school early for an appointment at 4 o'clock?
So school ends at 3:11. I definitely wanted to make sure we made it to the dental office on time, but more importantly, if you're gonna take your child out of school early, you have to do it before 2:30. So there's a cutoff. You can't just take your kid out of school at school 10 minutes before the cutoff. But we wanted to make the appointment on time, and that was the latest that I could pick him up, is 2:30.
So you didn't pull him out of school early for the dentist appointment just for funsies, right? You had a reason, and the reason was school rules. Is that right?
Yes, yes.
So you were asked about allowing to miss school because his grandmother was on her deathbed. Do you remember that?
Yes.
I believe that was approximately March 22nd of 2023. Did Ms. ever explain to you, oh, sorry, thank you. Did you allow to miss school that day?
I believe so, yes.
So he was able to see his grandmother before she passed away.
Yes.
Did Ms. ever explain to you why the Montessori school or private school were not reasonable choices?
Your Honor, I believe we litigated this, and there's a court order.
You were asking about school choice, you were asking about reasonability and why he would not discuss school. So I'm responding directly to your questions.
But we've specifically litigated the Montessori school and homeschool.
We're talking about reasonability.
In a way, it's not relevant to the issues before me, but in a way it is on the legal custody issues that these parties have had for years and years. So I'm gonna overrule the objection.
The question is, did Ms. ever explain to you why Montessori or private school were not reasonable choices?
Not that I recall.
So it was revealed that this was on the wait list for Pinecrest. Was he ever selected to attend Pinecrest or not?
I don't believe so.
Did you investigate Pinecrest yourself as a school choice for?
Like I said, I went to Pinecrest and I talked to the staff there twice. They had certain schedules for touring. I didn't take an actual tour. I had some other issues with Pinecrest because it's in the area that this other school is. Like we go to the Carl's Jr. and the Dunkin' Donuts in the area, and the Pinecrest students are banned from those buildings. So I suppose that counts as investigation.
So did you have any specific concerns about Pinecrest? And if so, what were they?
Behavioral concerns for the kids there. I also think that putting all K through 12 in the same place is not a great idea. And I also, in the same places that they eventually got banned from, I saw kids wearing Pinecrest clothes that were totally out of control. They were just swearing nonstop and lying on the floor of the Carl's Jr. and the Dunkin' Donuts.
In December of 2022, you offered Ms. your Monday custodial days for a short period, correct?
Check foundation misstates the evidence.
Okay. Was there a gym class that Ms. put in or around December of 2022?
There was a Flip for Me gymnastics class, it was called, and it was, I'm approximating, but I think it was about 15, 20 minutes from my house and about 20 minutes from Ms. house. And I asked if she could bring him to the class on Mondays, and I would pick him up there. As an alternative to that, I said that she could have the custodial Mondays while he was going to that Flip for Me gymnastics class. The option of meeting in the middle wasn't available.
So was this going to be a permanent arrangement or was this a temporary one?
It wasn't supposed to be a permanent arrangement, but it never happened at all, but it was supposed to be a temporary arrangement.
Did she sign him up for this Flip for You class?
Yeah, yes.
Did she talk to you about it before she did it?
I don't think so.
Did she ask you to pay for half of it?
I think I paid for all of it. At least half, maybe more than half. Or probably more than half, at least half.
Have you ever intended to give up a custodial day to Miss permanently?
No.
Do you know if your parents have expressed a desire to assist you with your expenses while this is in his minority?
Yes.
Do you have any reason to believe their support of your expenses would cease for any reason?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, I'm concerned about it, but no, not that I'm aware of.
Well, there's nothing further from this witness.
I have a few questions before we get. So currently, the release time is 3/11, is that right?
From school, yes.
How far is this dentist office from there?
The dentist, from
Yeah,
that
that
date,
day you took him out
uh,
early to go to a dentist appointment, how far away?
say about 20 to 25 minutes.
The school's in Inspirata. Where's the cross streets on the dentist?
It's Green Valley Dental Group.
Okay.
It's somewhere in Green Valley.
I know you've been there from the communications I've read, you've been there many times. So
Right.
what are the cross streets?
I honestly don't, I'm guessing Coronado Center? It's Green Valley Dental Group though, like if we looked it up on the internet, I would definitely know what it is. I mean, I could look it up on my phone now.
In the last 2 years, have you had any form of treatment for depression?
I see a psychiatrist regularly, bi-monthly, meaning every other month.
A psychiatrist?
Yes,
You on medication?
yes.
What medicine do you take?
For depression?
Yes. And how long have you been taking that?
14 years.
All right, you and texting about routine things?
Routine thing?
Yes, most of these text messages were routine and unnecessary. So I may not say to myself, unnecessary. So are you still doing that, both of you?
I respond if I
This is
think.
462 pages of text messages, sir. When you guys aren't supposed to be text messaging except for emergency things. I'm running late. Fell and broke his arm and I'm going to the urgent care. Those are the kinds of things you might want to text about instead of using our Family Wizard. But most of the stuff that's in these text messages, probably 99% of the 462 pages, could have been done on our Family Wizard. Should have been done pursuant to the orders. So my question is, are you two to this day still doing these text messages like this?
I would say probably yes. It's tough for me to tell, but we'd still communicate via text on occasion.
Not as much as you were in.
Not as much as.
These text messages go 462 pages, start from September 1st, 2021 through April 5th, 2025.
Your Honor, while you're doing that, we would refer the court, you asked about the address for the cross streets. Green Valley Dental Group, the records are located in Exhibit M, which is an admitted document or documents, and the address is Henderson, Nevada 89052. 89052.
Thank you. What extracurricular activities in the last 4 years have you
We mostly do chess.
And that was the chess club through school?
That was outside of school. And we do music. He participates through the studio school that I teach at, and he does take lessons and he does participate in performances, but I don't know if I would call him signed up because there's no real payment.
No real schedule to those, right?
There's a schedule.
Does Mom know what the schedule is for those? Like, have you communicated that to our Family Wizard?
or a text message?
The performances I do, the schedule that he's with me there is on Sundays. I can't be certain if I've actually said, just so you know, does music school with me every Sunday.
And are you opposed to him doing organized sports?
No,
Okay, then why does it take you so long to respond when mom asks you something like, I'm gonna sign him up for soccer, this is what he'd like to do, this is, you don't just respond to her and say, yes, no. Right?
well, I think sometimes I do. I'm also, sometimes I freeze. I don't know what to say. And like, sometimes I just think it would be better for us to do just extracurriculars on our own custodial time. And I mean, yeah,
Fair enough, but that you understand that would limit some of the extracurriculars he could do,
I
right?
agree, and it's unfair, and this is something
Or like soccer.
we've talked about.
During the
quite a
soccer
bit.
season, or whatever youth soccer he's doing, the games are probably either every Saturday or every Sunday, right?
Right,
So he'd have to miss half of them if you don't take him on your conservative time, right?
right.
Do you think that's fair to him?
I do take him.
No, okay, but I mean, your plan, so if we went to that plan that you each could only sign up for something on your custodial days, he would miss out on things, right?
I agree. I think it's not a good way to do things, but that's just, I mean, that's been the way the court's directed us. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to understand why this, something that really is simple that most co-parents can do is sign them up for a sport, is so difficult for you two. I'm not just picking on you, I'm gonna ask her the
Sure.
same questions.
I mean,
Why do you think it's so difficult?
when I've asked in the past to do something that's on separate custodial days, I'm just like stonewalled and told no. And when I agree to it, mom has me pay for it. And she says, well, it's on your custodial day, so you pay. I mean, at the
Like,
end,
it seems like it would just be clear for you to say, you can do soccer, but I'm not taking him on Monday, so don't sign him up for one that has practice on Monday.
I did say that, but she did anyway, so I'm gonna take it.
And I know I made an order on extracurriculars that you two only have to share the things you both agree to, right?
Right. But again, I end up paying for a lot of mom's stuff anyway because I don't want to get in trouble, honestly.
It seems like I saw communications from both of you that you both wanted to consider different schools for him for this school year and maybe for next. Have you actually tried to get him in a spot in any other I want to call them brick and mortar schools, because you know she objects to homeschooling. So have you tried it recently? I know what the litigation was in 2021. I know how we got there, how we got to the school he's in now. But have you, because like a charter school, for example, I know you've complained about the distance that you have to drive for his current school. So, but a charter school you have to apply to and get a spot ahead of time. Have you done that?
The only other suggestion I brought up was a private school or Montessori to see if she would be interested in those, seeing as my understanding was that the situation had changed with her opinion of his current school. But once she said no, I did not sign him up for anything. I think that even despite the distance, because he's got one more year left at his current school, and we know we have a relationship with the people there, it's probably best for him to finish out there. That's what I was just gonna be resolved to.
Couldn't you just say that?
I think I said I prefer that he stays at Alice.
But there was a lot of messages, if that's what your in summary was, which I didn't see, that to be your in summary to her. Couldn't you just say that in one message, that I don't think we should change him now?
I think I said that.
Okay, I didn't see that in there, and it might be in all these pages. but
I mean, I may
pointed out to
have
me.
said more unnecessary stuff, for sure.
Okay.
But I do believe I said that.
Well, and if he stays there, he can only stay there one more year.
Correct.
So you guys are gonna have a fight about where he goes to middle school, right?
I don't know, but maybe yes.
So on Montessori school, I mean, I know why he didn't go to Montessori school in 2021 or 2022, because that was a late process, but also it costs a lot of money to go to Montessori, right?
Sometimes yes, yeah. It's not public, it's generally not public.
Yeah, it probably costs over $1,000 a month
Okay,
to go to a Montessori school.
okay,
Like, there's a good one right in Green Valley, but it's expensive.
but
And
there is,
you're only working part-time,
right,
so how, if
I mean, I'm.
she were to agree to it, or you want to propose it, if she doesn't, then we have to have an evidentiary hearing, how are you gonna pay for it?
I'm just gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna ask my parent or my family to pay for it.
Okay. All right, I'm just saying that's,
Sure.
you have the right to propose schools. In this case, and in any case that's this high conflict, unless the parents agree, homeschooling is not gonna be on the table, because you guys can't work it out to get into a dentist for cleaning without a fight, so you guys can't do a homeschool. Not based on all the evidence I've heard. This is the third evidentiary hearing I've had on you guys' case since 2021. How long have you lived where you're living?
8 or 9 years.
And what is the lease term you've had then during those? Is it a 1-year lease each time, or?
It varies. When I was trying to have this school modified, I signed like a much longer lease. I did like a 2-year lease. Then we went to like 6 month, and then we went to 4 month. I think we're on 6 month or month to month. It's less than a year at this point.
Okay. And it's not cheap, because in 2023, you said your rent was almost $2,200.
Right, it's not cheap.
So it's probably gone up since then, right?
It's about the same.
So you could find, for that month, you could find a place to rent closer to where mom and where he goes to school, right?
I probably, my concern would be the dogs and the permanence of the location for the child. But probably, yes, I could find a place.
I mean, that would eliminate some of these driving problems and how long it takes with traffic. It's getting worse every year, right?
Sure, yes, I see it filling out too. The expressed to me very clearly that he doesn't want to move. Now maybe it's just my job as a parent to be like, sorry buddy, we're going closer to the school. But
Well, have him, and if you guys live closer to each other, whether you move, she moves, both move, it would cut down on some travel time for him in the car.
right, that was my main concern, but I was shocked that he didn't mind the travel time.
Yeah, he's not doing the driving in the traffic though, right?
Well, yeah.
I'm
Well,
just picking on you that the traffic is not.
it's not great. I have full self-drive now though.
You have a Tesla, does it full self-drive?
Actually.
So you can sit back and read a newspaper while you?
Well, I wouldn't quite say that, but
I don't know, I don't have a self-driving car.
I bought it used and it came with the full self-driving. So when they upgrade it, it keeps upgrading. So yeah, I have it, and honestly, it's amazing. Could you read a newspaper? Yes, but I would never do that.
All right, in February of 2023, I think that's when we did the evidentiary hearing regarding both of your claims for contempt, you filed a financial disclosure form at that time. Do you recall doing that?
Yes.
And at that time, you said your income was $5,403 from several different sources of what I would call self-employment gigs or freelance gigs,
Okay.
right?
That may include parental assistance in the income.
Because you wrote there that you get $125 an hour for music, $25 an hour for poker, $50 an hour for tutoring, $50 an hour for audio engineering, and $50 an hour for legal writing. So that totaled, that's all from your work, total $5,403.
Do I maybe have like other in there, like parental or something like
No.
that?
750 exchange services, and then net rental income, $83 a month, and $4,570 for your various freelance gigs.
Okay.
So what happened that you aren't, your expenses haven't gone down So what happened that you aren't earning that amount now?
I had, so the computer programming opportunity I had was on spec with a group that does sports wagering. And the first year was very profitable, and the year after that was not. And so I continued to do the work for the 2 years, but the next year, and I'm not risking anything in that scenario, but what I'm paid depends on that.
And from the first trial, you both have worked for years as professional gamblers, is what my memory tells me, right?
I was a professional poker player for quite a long time until the money, the financial issues between us.
Right, I understand you said you needed a,
Bankroll.
the bankroll. I didn't know exactly what term you use in your industry there.
Yes.
But yeah, you have to have some money, but don't you think your parents could do that rather than paying your rent and other living expenses for years?
Maybe it feels a little weird to ask my parents for money for gambling, but that may be the
Right, if you were
solution.
losing, that's it, but
Right.
you, many years, did actually make
Yes.
good money with gambling, right?
Yes,
And she makes good money with professional gambling.
I don't know about
What, according to her financial disclosure forms, I'm obviously not
Okay.
there for either of them,
Okay.
but it seemed like you both are successful at doing it. If you're sitting there losing money every time you go, that's not a profession, right?
that. Sure, yes.
But I'm just trying to understand why you're saying your income is now less than $3,000 a month.
Well, some of the opportunities dried up, some of the opportunities aren't there anymore. And some of that may be just transfer, like labeling of parental support from one column to the other, but I'm not sure.
Because since the trial in 2021, you've been getting regular and consistent financial assistance from your parents, correct?
More or less.
Going back to travel, you said something, leave me to write down. Have you ever planned to take him out of the country?
I requested the ability to travel to Canada twice,
Okay, did you make a specific trip to that?
a specific trip.
Yeah,
Like,
did you
did I
plan a
say-
specific trip and say, hey, Mom, I need the passport?
I said, Mom, I need the passport. We're gonna go during my vacation, but did I say June 1st to June 5th? That's for sure, no.
So you didn't actually take that trip then, or did you?
Well, she said no to the passport, so I just didn't do it.
And do you have, can you point me to where that is in your communications?
It's gonna be in our family wizard just before summer, not that I want to open those up again, but the text messages just before each summer in these past 2 years.
Okay, so I'm gonna let your counsel help you find that, because.
We're looking now, Judge. We're looking
Tomorrow,
now.
I'm gonna cut off. That's all my questions I did have at this time. This witness, given the time, Mr. Schonfeld, you have redirect, but I think we should start that tomorrow on that. And did you want to call Dr. Smith
So, yes,
first
Dr.
thing, out of order?
Probably, Your Honor. Dr. Smith contacted me as a result of an email that I sent where opposing counsel was copied. He said for him to get his file together, because it's all paper, it's not electronic, it would take him a week. He also told me he has a 101-degree fever, so I volunteered that I would ask the court if he can appear by Zoom, because personally I don't want to be around someone who's sick. And I know Mr. Leavitt.
I appreciate you.
By the way, Your Honor, Dr. Monique has already provided her electronic file to Mr. Schonfeld and myself, so they have it now.
And my gut instinct has always been to enforce the rules. But the Court of Appeals has told us, no, on a custody case, we have to hear everything. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm supposed to do. It seems to be, I know we both have objections now on both sides of having these counselors testify. But I think I need the information, particularly from his current counselor.
And I would just note, Your Honor, that
Maybe we have to, if he's gonna refer to anything specific in his records, maybe we have to have him make a copy of that, because we are coming back Wednesday. I don't know what they're gonna testify to, either we may not need any of these documents, we may need all of them, I don't know. I'm not trying to create a problem here, trying to solve one, in that I think I need to hear from both of them. That's why, over your objection, I'm allowing Dr. Monique to testify. And on the records, so that you did have the opportunity to subpoena if you really needed that thing. But like I said, if we need to, he's going to refer to records. We're going to have him testify by Zoom because I don't want him in.
I don't want him here either.
I don't want him, whatever he has that's causing a fever, none of us want to get it, right?
No,
So
hard pass.
we'll have that there, and then if we need to have him give us some records, we have time to do it because we have that third day. So with that, I want to stop for today. Any other housekeeping we can take care of before that? So you can sit back with your attorney now. Then I will tell you both where you stand with time then, right now. So plaintiff has used (3 hours and 8 minutes). Defendant has used 2 hours and 22 minutes. 22 minutes. So that's where we stand with your time right now. Any other questions, concerns? You can leave whatever, you guys are the only thing we have, so you can leave whatever you want to leave. Here, it will be safe and secure. All right, thank you.